For we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Oh, our home is good by sea.
This is the Amp Hour podcast, recorded May 4th, 2011. Exhilarating ESC Escapades. Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble from Chris Gamble's Analog Life.
And this is Jeff Kaiser from Migthyohm.com.
And
is there anyone else there?
No, that's it.
No, that's it.
That's everybody.
Dude, you failed. I told you. You had to get the Woz.
No, I didn't.
The Woz is there in the building.
I don't think he's anywhere near the building now. I think he's long gone.
Right.
Yeah, he was here for probably about an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how is it over there, guys? You guys are in a hotel room there somewhere, are you?
Yeah, we have a beautiful view of the hills surrounding San Jose. It's actually
nice.
It's gorgeous. I don't know how Chris worked this out, but he's got this nice room in the Hilton, and we're up here on the 15th floor, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, great view of the mountains. I didn't realize there were this many hills out here, so it's very, very nice. I took some pictures. I'll post them up to the Amp Hour too.
Right. So that's not the Hilton that's next to the exhibition center, is it?
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is.
The same.
Right, that might have been the one that I stayed at then when I was there, because it was literally tied on to the conference.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I had a room as well that overlooked the hills surrounding San Jose. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's very nice out here. It's my first time. People didn't know that. It's my first time in California, so it's very exciting for me. I felt like a fraud all these years, never having been to California after working on electronics. So
even I've been there, dude, and I'm halfway around the world.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been great though, and now we're sitting here recording on an ironing board, also of which we'll post a picture of.
Chris has had to improvise this setup where there's two laptops, microphones, headphone amplifier, all strung out on this ironing board. So all we need to do is make one wrong move and the whole show will go tumbling to the ground.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. There's nothing like a good hotel room hack. Oh, like we've been there, it's an hour before the exhibition's supposed to start, and we're there with soldering irons, and we're, assembling stuff and trying to get stuff to work, hacking firmware and doing God knows what to get stuff up and running. You guys don't have that pressure though, because you're
we're lucky.
Stand.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just
I
wake
actually
up,
I
go and
remember
have the free breakfast and.
I've talked to engineers that have had to do that before, and there's always this mad rush, and it's usually CES is the big one, and these engineers are trying to strap together this total kludge of a solution to demo their product, and I remember it always used to be such a big deal in the consumer electronics industry, but we're taking it easy today. This is great.
We've already had beer.
That's right.
Yeah, we're set to go.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I've got some great stories from the trade show stands. I remember once we didn't have any gear with us, so we had to rush off to Fry's and buy soldering irons and test gear and microscopes because we had to do some fine soldering work and
wow,
it's just, chaos and mayhem.
That's crazy.
I didn't think to get a photo of that though. There was this. We had 20 demo boards all set up, scattered across someone's suite there, all over the beds, and we had a makeshift lab in the corner on the study table or the business table there. We had complete soldering set up, and
that's great.
Works, and beautiful.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
what it is, but I guess it's like the 555 contest, right? Everyone enters at the last minute. It's the same thing with trade shows. Nobody is ready, on time, prepared. They turn up, they do everything.
It's usually because some sales guy somewhere promised that you would have this product ready for the show, right?
Exactly, and it's never ready.
They said it would be ready in 3 months, and it actually was going to take 9 months, and so you have to do something.
And the vaporware appears.
The vaporware, appears.
And it always seems to come off, too. It's that, it's that magic that happens under pressure in the last minute. You know, I've been there on my back under the stand of the trade show, you know, under our stand, actually, you know, screwing things in and wiring stuff up as the doors open and people start coming in, and we're going, whew, finished it with 5 seconds to spare or something. It's just,
you know, there's some great stories. I've read books of the early days of the personal computer industry, and those guys that were creating, you know, the Apple IIs and all those early desktops, they were creating demos in the days before the trade show up until, you know, the night of. And I think there's, I read a good book last year called Hackers, Heroes of the Computer Revolution, and it talks about
Stephen Levy. Excellent.
Yeah, exactly. And it talks about it gives you a real sense for what it was like to be with those guys and trying to get code working in their hotel rooms, and it's very exciting.
And actually, that was what the Woz was talking about today too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Jeff, you missed his keynote, right?
I didn't register for the conference. This is how, if you just register for the expo, you don't get to see these little things like the keynote. Right. So gotcha. I couldn't make it to that today, but you were there.
I was there, yeah, and that's actually what the Woz was talking about. He said that he was talking about a disk drive for the Apple II.
Right, because he wrote the disk drive controller for the Apple II.
And so that's he said a week before CES back then, his whole motivation was getting it done so he could just go to Vegas. That was his big thing.
Right.
It was this great story he was selling.
Wow.
Yeah. I was really impressed with him too. I mean, like he was a very charismatic, you know, for an engineer, he was very charismatic, very passionate. Like I was very impressed with him, and you know, especially like his talking about creativity and just what you need to do. You know, Dave, we talked about this before on here, kind of just letting engineers run, you know. Yep. He's all about that. And even like having departments talk, you know, like just give them some time, give them some money, and let them do their thing, you know, kind of bound them a little bit like, hey, stay in this industry, but otherwise just get out there and make some cool shit, and you're going to get some awesome products out of that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, he was very. I'm gonna write about it later tonight, hopefully. But he was very inspiring.
This actually reminds me of a article, a blog post I read not that long ago from Robert Cringely, who writes an excellent IT blog. He's been doing it for like 30 years or something, even before they were blogs. Anyway, he recounted the story of he was at one of the very early hacker conferences, maybe in the 80s or something like that. I'll have to post a link to this in the show notes.
Yeah.
And how that, you know, these whole bunch of hackers were sitting around or something in this, it was a hotel attached to a casino or something, and they wouldn't let them do something, or the hotel screwed them over somehow. So all the hackers were in this room and they thought, what can we do? I know, we can hack in and shut down the entire casino computer system. And so some guy tried it, and he actually got in, and they were one key press away from shutting down the entire casino. And then they had a show of hands. Should we do it or not? And hell yeah, everyone stuck up their hand, but do it. But apparently there was some lawyer in there as well that was in the room, and she said, I recommend you don't. It's a felony. And they didn't go through with it. But that was awesome. They could have shut down the entire casino just like that.
And that was known as the only time a lawyer has ever been useful.
Right, yeah, because they probably would have all ended up in jail or had their knees crushed in by the heavies at the casino or something. But, you know, stories like that. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's really great.
Love it. So, how did Jerry go with her keynote?
Hers isn't until later in the week.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but we saw Jerry today. She was in the expo. She was at the Element 14 booth for a while with her shooting gallery hack that she brought, which was very cool. Very cool. I got a chance to play, but I didn't do very well.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I think she has it rigged so that only she can win.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, as you would. Of course.
It's a great little demo though. I mean, like just even the bell on the back it draws people over, you know. So it's
exactly
for being in a monitor.
Yeah, she did a great job with it. It looks great, and it's actually the gameplay is pretty good, and I saw a lot of people playing it. So yeah, nice hack.
Yeah.
Is she wearing roller skates?
No, she's not wearing roller skates.
So
she's caved in, has she?
She did say she brought them, but I don't know. Maybe she'll wear them. We're actually going to a meetup later. So there's a hacker. I don't know if it's is it hacker.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a meetup later tonight for people around here that want to bring a hack, and should be a good time.
Did you bring a hack, Chris?
You're looking at it. It's what's holding our microphone up.
Right.
Chris has this like Gorilla Pod with a Panavice attachment attached to it that's holding up our microphone.
Yeah, so it's also my
Brilliant.
tripod for my camera/phone. So
the whole show depends on this.
Yeah, it's pretty precarious right now, actually.
Brilliant. Now, I saw, just before the show, I watched your recorded Ustream thing that you did from the... Yeah, I found that. It popped, you tweeted it or something. I went and had a look. Geez, that's bad quality.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the streaming from the phone just doesn't...
No, it's streaming from the phone with 3G. That was the real problem. I was really impressed with the... when it's on Wi-Fi, it does great. I mean... But
of course, yep.
It's 3G, so yeah, I apologize to everybody that... I saw there was like 14 people watching at one point, and I'm just thinking...
Sorry for those people.
Yeah, so sorry. Sorry to those people. But it was great because, I mean, Jeff was showing me around. I mean, so Jeff, what were the places we went to again?
Yeah,
you went to weird stuff, didn't you?
Today we went to 3 of my favorite places in Silicon Valley. We drove from the conference up to St. John's, where we had lunch, which is a famous, it's like a Silicon Valley institution. It's a bar/grill that serves hamburgers. And every Tuesday they have this thing where they do Tri-Tip Tuesday. So you get like a steak sandwich, basically. And I used to come there once a week whenever I worked in the area. So we stopped there for lunch, and then we went to HSC Electronics, or Halted, which is just a couple blocks away. And we went browsing through surplus electronics, and I bought a hot plate that I saw was on one of the shelves, one of those like laboratory hot plates that you can use for reflow because it goes up to something like 900 degrees. And
that's pretty cool. I mean, like, so that just heats the entire.
It has a stage on it that's like 5 by 5 inches or so, and it's got a thermostat. But I'm planning to take it apart and hack it with a digital controller.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you can put a PID controller on it, and then actually we spent quite a bit of time at HSC because you can spend hours there. And then we drove over to Weird Stuff, which is also in Sunnyvale. Actually, no, HSC's in Santa Clara, and then Weird Stuff is in Sunnyvale. So we drove over to Weird Stuff and spent probably at least a half hour browsing through, the junk that's at Weird Stuff. But I think Chris had a good time.
Yeah, it was great. Dave, have you been to those places?
I didn't get to Weird Stuff. No, I wanted to, but unfortunately, when I was there, mostly when I was there for the conferences, I went to DesignCon and ESC, and I wasn't doing the blog back then, so I sort of wanted to see other things than, just some surplus electronics place. Sacrilege, I know, but some other.
Are you trying to tell us that you have a social life?
I've got a life outside of, yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was great. I was telling these guys, I mean, I think, Jeff, you said you saw Dave's Apex tour. But I did. I was mentioning the Apex
we were comparing these places to Apex, and I think Apex is on a whole nother level just because of the size and the selection of
outdoors,
the outdoor component.
The outdoor,
Yeah, but I still I lived in the Bay Area for about 8 years, and I used to go to HSC and Weird Stuff on a regular basis, and they still those are very close to my heart. I've spent many dollars at both of those shops, and I really like them. I mean, to me, they are they really represent what surplus electronics is all about. Components lined up on shelves and weird industrial equipment that you don't even know what it does. And it's just, to me, it's so awesome that you can still walk into a store like that and browse electronics bits on the shelves. And I hope that those places stay open. And I feel like electronic surplus is on the decline, but as long as those stay open, I'm happy.
Yeah, and actually,
we don't really have any major surplus electronics ones left here in Sydney. There's one which is maybe surplus electronics, but they've really gone by the wayside. So we had about 2 or 3 at one stage, but sadly
it's
all
just,
gone.
You get so many cool ideas for projects because you just get to have all these things, and you look through the shelves and there's all this interesting stuff, and you just think about what you can do with this. And granted, 90% of it is junk.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
There's some really interesting stuff in amongst the junk that actually could become a cool project. And like, for example, the Bluetooth handset that I made, where I put a Bluetooth headset into an old-fashioned handset, that came from weird stuff. And I was just walking down the aisle and I saw like a 70s style telephone handset, and I knew that I had to make it into a project.
The problem I find is that when I go to those surplus places, all the cool stuff that I'm interested in is always big, and I'm not allowed to bring it home.
Yeah,
I feel for you, Dave, because I have the same problem now. I have to carry everything on the plane, and so now I'm going to have to put a hot plate in my carry-on luggage.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be easy to get through. Yeah.
Yeah. What with all the extra security now?
Oh
yeah.
It wasn't bad getting out here. I had a real easy time. So another thing I wanted to mention is that we actually. So I was sitting at ESC this morning and just sitting there and sat down with someone, and this guy offers me a donut, right? And I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't have breakfast. Thanks a lot. This isn't weird. So I graciously accepted the donut. Turns out though, he's like in the whole hacker scene, and like his name's Kenneth Finnegan, and he runs a site called Life of Kenneth. So he ended up coming out to lunch with us too, and he's an area native too. So he was showing it too, and he bought a bunch of crap. So it was great.
It was like the ultimate field trip.
Yeah, it was. It was. I feel a little guilty for leaving ESC, but the amount of stuff we saw was totally worth it. So. And,
I'm sorry, I can beat that road trip. We. As part of our Altium stand, we flew into LA, and then we went to our office in Carlsbad, and we had to drive. We had to do a road trip in a van packed full, literally to the roof of all our stand stuff. We had to drive from Carlsbad up to Silicon Valley, San Jose.
Wow.
And that was, and of course we took the scenic route as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That was brilliant.
Yeah, this was more
driving
of a
around driving Highway 1, is it, up the coast,
right.
and going around the Big Sur and beautiful. Anyway, that was a great road trip. Sorry, had to tell it.
No, that's cool, man. Ours was more of a lunchtime, trip.
Lunchtime
Ours was a 2 to 3 hour.
We didn't really leave the area, so but that's a cool trip. I mean,
right, ours took us about 15 hours or something. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
because we couldn't fly this stuff. It was so much stuff, and it was all fragile too. All these cases were like very brittle ABS prototype cases, and we couldn't afford to. We didn't have that many flight cases to put them in to protect them, to send them. So we had to pack them carefully in boxes and fill this van up, and away we went.
So wait, you flew them in from Australia though, didn't you?
We did, but they were in larger crates or something. Or we had them shipped directly there for, I don't know. It was complicated. Anyway.
That's a tough thing to do. I was talking to Jerry about that because she said she actually ended up driving down here from Portland because she had that demo we were talking about earlier, the monitor thing, and she just couldn't. She didn't want to ship it with, the lunkheads at TSA or whoever else might mess with luggage. So it's too bad, but it's just a problem with any kind of trade show.
Yeah, and the problem with packing stuff is it takes a lot of time, especially when you got 50 or 100 items. To pack them really safe takes a lot of time. We didn't have that time, and and it costs a fortune, and it was all too hard to arrange at the last minute. So into the van it went.
Yeah,
good stuff. Love trade shows. Maybe I'll be there. Maybe next year. Who knows? I
hope so. That would be great, man. I hope we can all be sitting in the same room on the same ironing board next year. That would be that would be awesome.
So we're Element 14 making you jump through hoops?
Nope, it's been going pretty well so far.
Awesome.
The problem with any kind of thing where you're like reporting is just that there's so much to do. Is that I've sat down a couple of times to try and write something, and then I'm just off doing something else. So writing is actually the hardest part, but then I don't even think about it. Even the video I have, uploading that and just kind of taking care of that stuff is just, it's not as fast as I want it to be, and it's too bad because, no one wants to see this stuff 3 days down the line. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. They want to see it straight away.
Right, and so that would be nice about Ustream if that actually worked, but then there's all these restrictions on if I can even do that from the show floor, so blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
it's
blah.
just too hard, and the quality's always crap, and it's unreliable, and it just isn't worth doing. I find just shooting the video, race into the hotel room, very quick edit and render and upload is, heaps better. So.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it all takes time. I've been in the hotel room 2 a.m. in the morning, bleary-eyed, still editing the video and trying to upload it, and
that sounds like what I'll be doing tonight, except after a couple beers too. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I'll upload the right video. We'll see.
So there's some video? Is it a written blog as well?
Yeah, it's both actually. Yeah. So
okay. So they'll be on the Element 14 site, will they?
The video will be up on the Element 14 YouTube site, I believe, and the writing will be up on the DIT blog. So. I'll link that through Twitter and all that other junk. So if people are interested, I don't really know. I don't know if people are interested at all. I hope they are. I don't know. But I feel bad too. It's like, I'm here, you're not. It's like, well, that's not really what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it comes across like that sometimes, But yeah, what can I do?
All right. Is it a big show? Are there?
Yeah.
Is it empty? Deserted?
No. Actually, I'd say it's considerably more crowded this year than it was last year.
You were here last year?
I was here last year and the year before,
okay.
And it definitely every year it seems like things are getting a little bit better and it gets a little more crowded. And this year there definitely were more people than the past 2 years.
Yeah,
absolutely. And there's a lot of interesting companies too that are exhibiting. And I guess Chris, you wanted to talk about
the one of them I think people have probably seen some of this linked in places. We saw the one scope that was...
It's an iPhone oscilloscope.
Yeah.
And it's actually a mixed signal oscilloscope. It's got, one analog input that does something like 12 megasamples per second, and then there's 4 digital inputs.
Yeah.
But it hooks up to an iPhone.
Or an iPad.
Yeah. And we met the designer of said iPhone oscilloscope as well. And had a chat with him. His name's Matt. And he was on the show floor, and I think he's coming out with us tonight. So we'll be able to ask him more questions. But it's really cool. There's actually some small startup companies that are doing some neat things, and it's not all just big corporations. And it's always fun to see the small companies
I didn't think because that.
they're interesting to talk to, right? Yeah. They don't just have their PR guys out there, but they actually have like the design engineer who made the thing, and he's there to answer your questions. Yeah. So that was really cool.
I was on their website the other day, actually having a look at that thing, and they're actually hiring at the moment.
Oh,
they're after someone,
And they're based in Oklahoma, it turns out.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Something weird like that.
Yeah.
That is very different
that's a very
Midwest
non-traditional place for a technology company.
Yeah, that's great.
But you don't need to be anywhere else.
That's right.
You could be in Alaska. Who
That's
cares?
right.
As long as you've got to you via DigiKey, and you've got a computer to design stuff, and
that's right.
Which is very freeing, I mean, Oklahoma is just a beautiful place, so
you could
so
even be
flat and dusty.
You could be in Australia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Because I think they ship things there.
Let's be honest. Who would ever do that?
And that segues nicely into our first shout out, shall we?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got an email from a young fella, Nicky Semenza, if I pronounce that correctly. Him and a school friend of his, Simon Orr, they're starting up their own kit business. It's called Nerds Like Us.
So how young are we talking about? Like elementary?
Oh, well, they're still in school. I presume high school. I think it's high school.
Okay.
So, yeah, they'd only be, 16, 17?
16, 17.
Something like that.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
They've only got one kit so far, but taking pre-orders. But hey, you've got to start somewhere. So it's
the future Dave Joneses of the world.
Right.
Jeff, when did you start electronics? Did you start real young like Dave did?
I started really young. Yeah, I definitely knew how to solder whenever I was probably 8 years old or something like that. Yeah, I started out with those Radio Shack 160 and 1 kits, and that's where I got my start. So I was burning myself with a soldering iron, whenever I was far younger than probably a lot of kids today.
That's great. And Dave, you said were you about that age too?
I was 5 or 6 when I got my first electronics. Wow. Yeah, I had my own workshop at 8.
That's crazy, man. Wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome. And the Woz was talking about the same kind of stuff today too. So think you guys are in good company.
Have you been down to Woz Way, which is a street?
I parked on Woz Way.
Yeah, you parked on Woz Way. I didn't know you could park on Woz Way.
There's a parking lot there, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, awesome.
I saw that on the way in. That was pretty great.
Yeah, you'll have to get a photo with Woz Way. So,
Okay, I'll try
or
that.
better with Steve himself. But he's buggered off, has he?
I'm sure he's gone. He's busy, dude. Come on.
I know. He's a busy guy.
I'm hoping that some people were asking about that. I'm hoping that they'll post that up on the EE Times video site. It's like video.eetimes.com, and
Right.
I don't know if it'll be this week, but they had a lot of the stuff from DesignCon, so I'm sure they'll post that eventually. It was a really good talk. Anyways, back to this. Sorry, Nerds Like Us. So
yes, Nerds Like Us.
the kit is AM radio. That's great.
It's based on a 555
cool.
timer. Yeah. So,
Wow.
Excellent.
Chris is impressed.
Anyway, you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah, that's really great. That's really great. Maybe some people pick that up. How about you wrote on here, Dave, that people are ripping off some open source hardware stuff?
Yes, I got this from the Adafruit site.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Deal Extreme, I think it is. I hope I get that right because there's Deal Excel. No, yeah, it's definitely Deal Extreme.
Okay.
And they've ripped off the Adafruit little breadboard thing. I don't know what it's called. And
I think it's the
they've ripped that
breadboard
off and they're selling it. And they just took the Adafruit name off the board and didn't credit them in any way at all. They just,
That's lame.
Which,
Why am I totally not surprised that this is happening?
No.
Well,
actually, it's probably
only
not
a
Deal
matter of
Extreme's fault because they just resell.
No, they're just a
stuff.
reseller.
So,
Yeah.
So
I
they're
wouldn't
buying
blame
this from somebody, and
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, really, you got to hold them accountable somewhere, though, because you can't stop people
Oh,
ripping
of
it off,
course,
but you
yeah.
can try and go to them and say, hey, don't do that anymore.
Well, you can try to get them not to carry things that violate the Creative Commons or open source hardware license.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
But it's
I'm
hard to
not
police,
surprised
really.
that this
I
is
mean,
happening.
yeah, and you can't really. There's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? Sue them over a little breadboard kit? You can't. It's just impossible. You got to hope that they do the right thing.
And it's interesting because Adafruit has had problems with counterfeit kits for a long time because for a long time you could buy, and maybe even still now, you could buy Mini POV and some of her other kits on eBay. And then what was happening was that people were buying these kits on eBay and then posting questions to her support forums whenever they didn't work. And so she was having to support people that didn't even buy their kits from her. And so she basically told everyone that they were out of luck, that she wasn't going to support kits that she didn't sell, which makes a lot of sense. And, as long if they were not authentic, boards that had her that credited her and were based on her design. So this isn't the first time that she's had trouble with people copying her designs and trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know why they do this. It's so easy just to credit someone. It doesn't cost you anything. And with the open source hardware, you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to copy it and sell it.
Yeah.
So why you wouldn't just do a simple thing like put in a credit on your web page or something is beyond me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe they just don't know. That might be the real thing. Maybe they'll just be on their way and.
It's possible that they don't know what the Creative Commons license is, and that you have to give
they don't care. Yeah.
They don't care.
Well, there's that too.
Well, they
probably
just
in the time that they
less.
could have read the license, they copied the design and started making
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's poor form, but it was bound to happen. And it's always been happening. It's not just new with this open source hardware thing.
Yeah.
It's been happening for, ever since kits have been around, 30, 40 years. It's nothing new at all.
So how about some more shout-outs? One of our listeners, Sebastian, who's at SG Tech on Twitter, he's posted to our site, or not linked to our site. I know what I'm talking about. And so he's always probably the most excited person on Twitter whenever we announce a new episode.
Right.
But we always give shout-outs for that, so thank you, Sebastian. We appreciate that. And we look forward to your exuberant responses to our posting of new episodes.
And I also have to thank Sebastian for translating the Solder comic as well. Sebastian sent in a translation into Spanish of the Soldering is Easy comic book, and he also translated the original one-page soldering reference that Andy and Mitch made last year. So thanks to Sebastian for the translations.
And how many languages are we in now?
We're up to 7 now. So we have the soldering comic that I talked about the last time I was on the show. We've received translations into Chinese, Russian, Brazilian Portuguese, Indonesian, Spanish, and Japanese and Greek. And I think we're getting French and German anytime. And actually, we just got someone from Tanzania, I think, that's going to translate it into Kawahili. So
brilliant.
I kid you not. We're definitely crossing all borders with this solder comic. And, you know, I know some people are sick of hearing me talk about it because I've been posting all of the translations to my site, but you know, you have to get the word out because people that don't understand or can't read English, I mean, they're really happy whenever someone translates it into their language and they can actually read and distribute the comic.
That's awesome.
So do you have to tweet it in Spanish?
You know, I try to.
Right.
I try to
translate, huh?
Yeah, I do, and then people don't know what I'm talking about.
And then it translates to "you are a cow" or something. Like that.
Well, Mitch and I have kind of laughed about this because you know we can't read too many other languages, and so someone could be saying, you know, Mitch and Jeff are idiots somewhere inside the comic, and we would not even know. So please don't do that if you're thinking about translating the comic, but. You know, eventually the word will get back.
Yeah,
we'll hear about it.
Brilliant.
So one other shout out for the week. One of our listeners wrote in recently that he listened to all the back episodes in 10 days. So that means 40 episodes in 10 days. I don't know how it was. ST1 his handle was, but I don't know how.
If you're sitting at work all day, that you can watch 8 episodes a day, I guess.
I don't know how anyone could listen to us for that long.
5 8s of 40. There you go.
Yeah, I know, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and
especially with my voice.
Yeah,
yapping in
well,
your
me
ear
too,
for
buddy. I mean,
40 hours straight.
I also want to thank him because of that whole snafu I had with erasing all of our stats, so he helped pump them up a little bit more.
Excellent.
If people don't know, I erased all of our stats for all of our past shows because I'm an idiot. So, but
comment.
Live and learn.
But I saved the day because I had a screenshot.
You did.
So yes, thank you. Applause. No. All right.
So what else we got, Dave? I saw you added a couple other links here.
I've added a few things. What else we got? I got an email. It's another. I guess it's a shout out, although they probably don't listen to the show. The local TAFE college here in Sydney are doing a program for girls, an electronics program for high school girls.
That's
and
great.
They're using Arduinos, and they're going to make like a LED cube kind of interactive art display project.
So what is TAFE?
Really cool.
What does TAFE stand for? TAFE?
Technical and Further Education.
Okay.
It's a local college system we have here.
Okay.
Yeah, which wouldn't mean much to you guys, but yeah, it's a local college system here, and they do a lot of programs with schools as well. So high school students can go and do some of the college courses and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really great.
Anyway, it's great, and it's I can't remember the name, sorry, but it's a great program. I love it, and they had 100 girls join it, and only one dropped out, I think, for reasons unknown. But yeah, so they're obviously interested in doing electronics and add in cool interactive stuff to art. Obviously, they're putting an art spin on it because girls will be more interested in art than just a 555 timer or something. So,
well, that might be. I think a better way to say that is, it's a better way to break people into electronics in general.
I think that's true for everyone, not just girls.
Exactly.
I think that if you want to appeal to people, choose something that's interesting to a wider cross section of people than just 555s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that sounds like
generic,
great, and I. I'm sorry. Say that again. You broke up.
Oh, sorry.
Dave.
As a generic stereotype, girls would be less interested in electronics than boys. That's just a natural.
I see.
I don't mean to be sexist or anything. That's just the way the world works. Girls are
just the way Dave is.
less interested in electronics. No, come on, you've got to agree with me, right?
No, maybe historically, but there's a lot more factors in that. I think if you put a female child and a male child in a room and you teach them the same thing for, if you had a controlled experiment, I think there would be no difference. Personally, I think it's all
but the fact is, girls are brought up differently to boys in most societies.
That's true.
In terms of things they learn, toys they play with, stuff like that. And there may be some inherent cognitive things pre-programmed into males that are not programmed into females, like the ability to do spatial rotations. Visual spatial rotations. Males can do that a lot better than females. There are a lot of physiological things as well. So I'm going to stick with
that. That's fine. I'm going to stick with that's nurture more than nature. But until we have a really horribly controlled experiment, which would totally ruin the life of children.
Right.
I don't think I should be allowed to have kids. To be honest.
I'm with Chris on this one. I think that girls are just as capable of doing electronics design.
I didn't say they're not just as capable. I'm talking about natural interest here from the way they're brought up, the society they're brought up in. I mean, it's just a fact. More guys will get into electronics than girls. Always has, probably always will. I don't see it flipping the other way. Do you?
That's a nurture. I think that's a nurture thing. I mean, we're talking nature versus nurture. If people don't know what I'm talking about, nature being like a genetic thing, nurture being how you're brought up and just the stuff you're exposed to. So I think that's a nurture thing because of just the social implications of, boys are encouraged to have, there's this great SMBC comic. I don't know. I think we might have linked it before. And there's this SMBC comic, which is by Zach Wiener. And it says, they hand a toy to a boy, and it's, what is it? Oh, well, it's this block system where it can be configured in millions and millions of ways, and you can do anything what you want with it. And then it cuts to the next frame, and it's a little girl, and says, oh, what is this toy? It's a doll. What does it do? It's a doll.
Right.
That's the nurture side of things.
Right.
I mean,
it's a nurture thing, but that is a practical reality of any society.
But it doesn't have to be.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't have to be.
I'm not saying it doesn't have to be either. Right? But the fact is, it is. There are less girls naturally going to get into electronics, so
yes,
to help them out, programs like these are fantastic.
I totally agree.
It gives them another avenue in.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Right now, to shift it in the other direction and get more girls interested from a young age that's the best way to do it. So. And really young boys too. I mean, creative endeavors. Whenever you see something where you're really into it and you're in the flow and you're really enjoying yourself, and then later you're like, oh, I need to figure this out. That's going to be the next Woz. That's going to be the next Jerry, right? That's how it happens. You're interested in something, and then you have to go teach yourself something. That's how you do it. That's how you teach kids.
Yep. Absolutely. Anyway, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well. We've gotten through a total of nothing on this list tonight.
No, that's not true.
Oh, we got through all the shout-outs. That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty good for us. I wanted to talk about IEEE, not IEEE necessarily, but we had some people asking on Twitter about support networks for consulting. And I actually didn't know of any. And it turns out, though, that IEEE has one. And I was talking to a guy here today about that. Have you ever heard of the consultant networks of IEEE before, Dave?
Does IEEE exist in Australia?
I can't say. Is there a point to it? If you're a consultant, you're a professional, you can do your own thing. Why do you need support? I don't know.
Well, it's for networking.
Maybe. I don't know.
Ooh, Dave's the lone wolf.
Okay. Sorry?
You're the lone wolf, right?
I think it's to give consultants a way to network to try to make.
Well, that's called LinkedIn, isn't it?
This is more like. Like if you're on LinkedIn, you might be like talking to marketing people, VPs, and all that other stuff. And that has its place, but this is more like.
What is it? A forum? Is it a Is it a newsletter?
It's like a network, and I think they have regional chapters, right? So you can get together with people in your city or town, and
so they physically have meetings.
Yes, they do, and they have. Right. You can go and watch presentations about stuff, and I've never gone, but I've heard about it.
I just find it straight off the top of my head, I find that unusual that a support network for consultants. It seems weird to me.
I think it makes tons of sense. You don't think?
I don't know. Anyway,
I think because I think about it from at least. I mean, granted, Jeff, you said you've walked in before, right? And it's been like a group of older guys, right?
I've never been.
Oh, who said that to me?
I've never been.
Someone said that they walked in and it was very intimidating. It was just a group of older, consultants. But if you are starting out, how do you know how to start finding a lawyer and if finding an accountant and all the other stuff you need to do as a beginning consultant, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That I think that from that perspective, it makes a lot of sense, and that's actually how I got talking to someone about it. I think they were talking to me on Twitter or Facebook or something, and just asking me, "Have you ever heard of this before?" Because they were just looking for. There's a lot of questions out there, and you can't always Google for them. How do I find a good lawyer that won't screw me over in a design capability, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
fair enough. I guess there's a forum for everything, right? There's a network for every little niche out there.
Oh yeah,
And
sure.
By the way, I am now a consultant.
No, Dave's advertising on the Amp Hour.
Right. Yes, I am. No, I will be doing some consulting work very shortly for a company who will remain unnamed.
For design work or for...
Yes.
Oh, great.
Some high-end design work. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
congratulations.
That should be fun. Really
cool.
leading-edge R&D stuff. So, yeah, that'll just be like a little side thing.
That's great. That's really great. Well, you probably can't talk about it much. Well, we will hope to hear about it soon.
I am under NDA.
Oh, NDA is the awesome. See, and that's another thing you can ask a consultant network. What the hell's up with NDAs?
And it's interesting because
who cares? Just sign them and that's it.
That's a little bit dangerous, I think.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting because I get emails from time to time because, my website shows up on people's searches and I get the craziest people that want to develop products and things. And a lot of times in their first contact with me, it includes the words of I need you to sign an NDA. And my take on this is that, I understand that NDAs are important, but if that's your first sentence of your email that you need me to sign an NDA, I instantly become a little bit defensive, right? Yeah. It's not a good opener for a conversation of sign your rights away on this piece of paper and then we can continue talking. Maybe just a heads up, if you want me to do design work, you may want to just start with hi.
Can I hear more about your background?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very interested in you as a person.
Can what are your capabilities?
Can I buy you a cup of coffee?
that would be great. Yeah, you're I'll just say, prospective client, you are 1,000 times more likely to have me want to work on your project if you treat me as a person up front.
Yeah.
It's
hey, you machine, start cranking out some stuff.
It's really funny, and I think the reason is that they send these emails to everybody that they find on the net. They're searching on Google for all electronics designers, and they send this mass email, and they'll find the lowest bidder, right? That they don't care about me, they don't care about what I can do or anything. They have their widget that they want, and they want
it now.
They want it now, yeah, they really do, and they want it for
I
cost.
wouldn't be involved in something like that. I just hit delete straight away when I get those sorts of emails.
Yeah.
Crap.
Another nice thing about not necessarily the IEEE one either, but something I've thought about before is if you're working on a project, right? So Jeff, you've done consulting work before, but if you need a piece done, if you're working on hardware and you're I can't do this software, you need to go find someone. If you're in a network, then you just say, oh, well, I know this person. It's easy. Yep. You're going to have that naturally, but then if you have it in a network, then maybe you have this trusted group. You can say, hey,
and it's good. You can pass work if you're overloaded. You can pass work to somebody else, and then hopefully they'll do the same thing in turn. And I mean, I already have that relationship with people that I know, just that I've already networked with. But I definitely could see the value in a network for consultants, especially if it's in a particular geographic area. Like if all the Silicon Valley consultants, get together, and I'm sure they do. So
it'd be pointless having something like that here in Australia. We just don't have the density of
well, maybe just Australia in general, though. I mean, because you could have, it's a lot cheaper to fly from Queensland to Sydney, right? Did I make up a city there?
No, they're Queensland.
All right.
Those are both valid Australian
Queensland
cities.
is a state. Damn it. So.
You can fly from Ohio to New York City. Damn it.
It's still technically correct.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'll give you a pass.
Okay, that's good.
All right. Anyway, support network for consultants. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If it works for them, great. Awesome.
So I wanted to talk about one thing. I've been in San Francisco for the past about a week, and I got to take a tour of Noisebridge, which is the hackerspace in San Francisco.
I almost went there. I had it teed up and I didn't have enough time.
Now I have to.
How was it?
I should preface this with I actually was a Noisebridge member at one time because back whenever they started, I was living in San Francisco, and so it was easy. It was easy for me just to be a part of it. Although I let my membership lapse because I wasn't using the facilities and the tools enough. Like I couldn't justify the membership. But I have to say that the space has grown a lot since I left, and it is really impressive. So I've actually been there a couple times over the past week, and I got to see their laser cutter. So Noisebridge has a laser cutter, which, I mean, if anyone's not familiar, it's a laser, and it cuts things.
Weird. Wait, a laser
cutter.
Wait,
Yeah.
so
And it's on like an
things.
XY table thing, right? So it just...
So it looks like a plotter,
Yeah.
but it has a laser, a CO2 laser in it, and you can use it to engrave and etch and cut materials like acrylic or wood or, kind of thin stuff up to probably 1/4 of an inch is the absolute max. But
I think that's how Adafruit got started too, isn't it?
Adafruit has a laser cutter.
I think they got started with like custom design.
They were doing laptop engraving, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of their things. Well, traditionally, laser cutters have been really, really expensive, like in excess of $20,000 to $30,000 for the Epilogue, which is kind of the industry standard. But what's interesting is that Noisebridge has a laser cutter made in China that they bought for about $3,000.
Ooh,
Nice.
Low-cost sourcing.
And so it turns out there's this company in Las Vegas here that imports these laser cutters from China. They put their own USB interface board on them, and they add a couple custom things that they do, and then they'll sell it to you, and it's about $3,000. In fact, I think you can get it for less if you get, you don't get all the options. But it's like a fully functional laser cutter for $3,000, which I thought was amazing.
That's kind of a risky business. I'd be like, hey, you know what? We should buy a laser from a low-cost region. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, I mean, it is interesting because Jerry has a laser cutter, and she got hers directly from China, and it was dead on arrival. It didn't power up whenever she got it. So this company actually checks them out and makes sure that they work, and they provide service and support, which is pretty key.
Yeah, you don't ever think about that until you need it.
Until the tube burns out, and you need a new one. But I thought that this is kind of an interesting thing because we talk about people having fab capabilities at home, and $3,000 is kind of a lot unless you're really into things like you want to build that into your workshop. But for things like hackerspaces, it's actually not that bad because you only need to get 20 people together and all chip in, and it's not that much money actually. Everyone invests a little bit, and pretty soon you've got one for the space, and that's what Noisebridge did, and they've been super happy with it. So it was just kind of neat because the hackerspace in Austin is interested in getting a laser cutter, so we've kind of been shopping around, and I thought it was really cool. So if anyone's interested, we can put a link, but the company's Full Spectrum Laser, and they have this like 40-watt laser cutter that they sell.
That's awesome.
And I mean, it's only a matter of time. So maybe we can use this for our garage chip fab.
Oh yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you, Dave.
You're gonna need it.
Yeah. And there's another one too. There's actually there was a Kickstarter project too called Laser Sword.
I've heard of this.
Sub $1,000.
And while I am basically extremely skeptical of any Kickstarter project, just because I don't trust anything about Kickstarter projects, and I mean not to say anything bad about the good ones that are out there, but it seems like anyone can start their Kickstarter. Like, I'm going to design a particle accelerator. Give me money.
Ooh, I'd like to give you money. Can I give you in $10 increments?
You can give me cash non-sequential bills.
Yeah, for $10 you will get, well, nothing.
A T-shirt.
But we'll give you a particle. We'll ship you a muon.
Actually, it's getting like that, isn't it? Because the whole Kickstarter thing has taken off and is so enormous now. Mm-hmm. As you're saying, every man and his dog's doing it. Well, how do you, to a point where, like you said, you won't trust any of them.
I presume
it gets to a point where you would only trust someone that you know, or
exactly,
with a name or a reputation.
I mean, how am I to know that they're actually going to come through with it?
Obviously from the awesome video they make at the beginning,
right?
But yeah, I've heard of the laser cutter, and I honestly don't know anything about it, and it could be an awesome project. Yeah. But I'm just saying that generally, I'm getting tired of hearing about these. There's a Kickstarter project to do that. It's like, well, I'll believe it when I see the hardware. I'll believe it when I see the results, and I remain on the fence about giving money to these groups. But
right. Well, and that's the thing. If they say they're going to offer like a beta version that you won't be able to get otherwise, that's when you really want to throw in money. That you're willing to take that risk, right?
Yeah, and you have to manage the risk. Yeah. I mean, it really is. You might never hear from these guys again. Of course, with Kickstarter, if they don't reach their threshold, you don't lose the money.
They have to pull a couple suckers in. Then they've got the money.
But if they get enough suckers to put in money, then you may never see your investment return.
Yeah, smaller than a $3,000, it's $100 or whatever it might be. So. Yeah. Well, speaking of hackerspaces, have you guys seen the Google hackerspace? Did you see the article about that?
Yes.
I did. Where is that actually?
At Google.
Well, Google has a lot of offices.
Yeah, I know.
Is it Google in the Bay Area?
I think it was on the Googleplex. So.
Oh, okay. So it's here in Mountain View.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Duh. We're in California.
We were right there. We could have just driven over. If anyone in the Google hackerspace hears this, they should give Chris a call and invite him up, because I won't be here, but he will. He could go check it out.
That's true.
Anybody at Google?
And if anyone at Google's listening at all, that's awesome. Please leave a comment. I would be flabbergasted if anyone is. I mean, granted, we have a couple listeners. I appreciate everybody that listens, but I really have no clue. We need to do a survey at some point about who the hell listens.
Do you work for Google?
Well, that would just be one question.
Yeah. Chris wants to know if you're cool or not.
No, that doesn't define coolness, but I'm just saying, that would be cool.
Do you enjoy the podcast?
I mean, there'd be a lot of...
Yes, no. If no, there are no further questions.
Yeah, go away. I mean, come back and listen. Don't answer any more questions.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the article. It was cool. It looks really cool. But they said that you had to pass a written test of some sort. Like, it was kind of exclusive.
It's for the machine shop, so you don't cut your finger off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like a safety test.
Yes.
Oh, that's fine. I thought maybe they were making it so not everyone could be in it. So
there's that probably too. Yeah. It was. They said it was the most exclusive part of Google. So, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a WTF.
We do. I didn't see that.
Well, you probably don't know, but I added this to the list.
Oh, where's it?
It's a what the?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Philips.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. I saw that one. Bunch of dickheads.
Yeah.
Philips, in their new headphones, they've got, this is a bit of an old story. It's from a month or two back. And they've got these new headphones, wireless headphones powered by AA batteries. Great. Standard AA's. No. They're using proprietary AA batteries.
You're kidding me.
No, it's insane.
So what's so proprietary
they're exactly the same physical size, but apparently they've got like the top taken off so that it touches the outside metal can. They've got like another contact inside the holder or something. Not sure of exactly how it works.
Oh my God.
If you don't insert genuine Philips proprietary AA batteries, it doesn't work.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Are you sure that it just doesn't work? And it's not just that it doesn't try to charge the batteries? Because I've seen like rechargeable things where they try to keep you from putting normal alkalines in because they're worried you're going to like blow something up, right? Because you don't want to charge standard alkaline batteries.
Well, this is a rechargeable thing. They're saying use only Philips rechargeable batteries. But I don't know. It's just stupid. It's just...
that is frustrating.
I don't know the reasoning behind it. It's just these dickhead people who wrote the specs for this thing said, oh, well, what happens if somebody puts alkalines in there and they try to charge it? Yeah. Well, they could blow up. Oh, we can't have that.
You know what that probably
blow someone's head off,
It probably is a cost savings thing because they said, oh, well, we want to use these cheap, high volume, casings where they'll be able to hold AA's because that's in every commercial product, so the springs and the contacts. But then, we want to make it rechargeable too. So I'm sure that's part of it as well.
Well, this article at Hackaday claims that if you don't use the special battery, it doesn't work as well. The charging time and capacity are screwed up if you don't use the right batteries. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, people know what to do with that.
Crazy.
Stop buying.
Shame
and it's
on
not like this
Philips.
is a new problem. Like, I'm sure Philips sell other stuff that have worked perfectly well and they take standard AA's. But no, somebody's got this brilliant idea that will try and flog Philips rechargeable batteries with this thing. Force people to use it.
Yeah.
Piss off.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Unbelievable.
How about
anyway
our new segment? Do you want to get into that this week or you want to hold off till next week?
Chip of the week.
Chip of the week.
Chip of the week.
Yes, we're so innovative here at the Amp Hour.
Yeah. Next up, we have product of the week.
Next week will be the secret sound.
Yeah, secret sound.
I don't know if you guys have that in the US, but in Australia, every radio station for the last 40 years has had a segment called the secret sound. And they play a sound and you've got to phone in and try and tell them what it is and you can win something.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Anyway, we're a radio show. Maybe we should have the secret sound.
So what's the chip of the week?
So the chip of the week...
Oh, I don't know. If we just use a cool chip we're using at the moment, we'll mention it.
You just mean generally,
We haven't got time to mention it today, so we'll start that next week, shall we?
All right.
Oh, okay, yeah. You have to wait. Ooh.
Yeah, because we want some technical details.
Yeah, and this one is actually really cool.
The week is the LM555, and that's it. Next segment.
The chip of the week for this and every week will be the 555.
Yeah. Okay, we can say that's the chip of the week this week. How about that?
And if any of the semiconductor manufacturers want to pay us a shitload of money,
I don't think we'll enhance those.
We can be bought.
No, Dave. Yeah. I'll go down to the show floor tomorrow and tell them all that. How about that?
Right. Okay. Good.
Yeah. We've got.
Surely we can be bought.
By the way, we have 14 chips of the week this week, and also in unrelated news, I'm going to Vegas.
I think if there were an integrated circuit company or chip company that were to etch a likeness of Chris or Dave
or the Amp Hour logo
onto their silicon, then they would definitely get the chip of the week.
They would at least get a shout out.
Oh, at least, yeah. we'll see on that one. Yeah. Are we out of time, Dave?
No, we got 4 minutes left.
Okay, so we'll
make it snappy.
We'll hit something else other than the chip of the week this week.
Yep.
But other stuff from the show, Jeff? Anything else you saw?
I saw TI. I went over to TI's booth and I was looking at their MSP 430 stuff. They have this thing called FRAM. You ever heard of this before?
They did announce that today.
FRAM, ferroelectric.
It's not fair. I don't know if it's ferroelectric. They just announced it today, so there's a bunch of links about that.
Oh, it is. It is ferroelectric random access memory.
Oh,
sorry.
And
I honestly I don't know anything about it, but
if memory serves me correctly, I'm probably wrong here. It originally came from Australia.
Huh.
I think
I've used
it. The FRAM was developed by somebody here, but no, I could be thinking about another type of memory which has been on the outer. FRAM, I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's been going for 20 years. I've been trying to perfect it, and it'll be the next new whiz-bang technology, and Flash just killed it.
Yeah, it did because of volume. Yeah, I've used this.
Flash just came out of nowhere.
I've used this stuff before in low memory volumes, so 128 kilobytes and stuff, and it's really cool. But basically, the only people that make it right now, and I think I saw the people who are announcing it today, is Ramtron, which, by the way, is an awesome name for a company. Ramtron! Yeah, so Ramtron makes it. I think they partnered with TI. I think that's how it worked.
Okay.
There was I'll try and find the press release about it, but basically TI is starting to make it with Ramtron. And basically, if people haven't heard about it, FRAM, the best part about it is it's somewhere between SDRAM and Flash. And so that's the really cool part. So it's high enough volume. It's really fast. It doesn't have the read-write cycles like Flash does, and it's really expensive right now, but it's really a optimal product for somewhere in between. If if they could ever make it in volume and replace all computer memory with it, it'd be like having instant startup for your computer.
Yeah.
So
it looks like I was right. I'm on the Wikipedia page for it. They were founded in 1984.
Wow.
Ramtron. I think they've actually been going that long. It's taken them that long.
That's crazy.
To get this shit to market.
That's crazy.
And trying to penetrate the market. And I'll give them A for effort for hanging in there. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you think after a while your investors would be like, guys, it's been 25 years. How about now?
I'm sure I've heard a couple of times over the decades that, they've gone under. They've finally admitted that, they're not competitive. Their technology's not competitive, all that sort of stuff. But, somehow they've survived and they're winning a few orders. And TI, well, they're a pretty big one. So maybe they've ironed out all the problems and finally ready to go. I don't know.
I'm not sure it's actually maybe they sold them some IP. The TI announcement doesn't mention them; it just mentions FRAM. So, but it's a 16-bit right now. So it's still pretty cool. Like MSP 430s are low power as it is. So this is going to be ridiculously low power.
Right. Yeah, I think Ramtron are kind of like ARM in that respect. They don't actually make anything themselves.
No, they do. They do.
They just want to. Oh, do they?
Yeah, I've used some of their parts.
Okay. So you can actually buy a Ramtron FRAM.
Yeah.
Chip.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But maybe they sold off some of their IP. I don't know how they're doing it, but this says on here that on this press release it says FRAM supports more than 100 trillion write cycles. So that's compared to about 5,000, I think, for modern Flash.
It's the tens of thousands, yeah.
Tens of thousands. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about low. I think it was lower.
How long does 100 trillion last if you're continually writing at 10 megahertz or 100 megahertz? They're probably not that long. You might be surprised.
Well, but still, I don't know. Well, let's do some math. Let's
do some math.
10. The hardest part about this is going to be putting in 100 trillion.
It's the math problem of the week.
Week. 1, 2, 3.
Otherwise known as Chris uses his calculator.
1, 2, 3. I think I ran out of zeros. Shit.
Chris fails to use his calculator. Yeah. Well, anyway, I thought it was interesting, and I don't know much about it or if it's useful, but I saw TI had a big demo. They had parts, and actually one of the coolest things that I've seen in the whole expo so far today, TI is giving away parts out of a gumball machine.
What? I didn't see that.
Nice.
Yeah, so they've got parts in little round balls, and you turn the crank, and it goes down the little spiral of the gumball machine, and you get free parts.
That's awesome.
So I picked up one myself.
Oh yeah? What'd you get?
It's an MSP 430 of some kind. I don't know
dip.
It's a dip part. Yeah, I'm not sure what flavor it is, but it works with the launch pad, I think.
That's great.
So, yep.
Yeah, they've been giving out boards like crazy around here. I didn't get one. The guy that we were with got 3 boards. He was racing around trying to get them.
Yeah.
But, he got like 3 boards. You can just pick up dev boards just about anywhere here. So. If people are in the area, definitely come on down the next couple of days. You can get into the expo for free.
The expo's free, yeah.
And a lot of the vendors have I am always blown away by how big these booths are. Like they are just like, they have people come in and set them up a day beforehand, but they're like 30
enormous.
feet tall.
Yep. There's a dinosaur skeleton.
I don't
understand why that's there, but
they said something about the past and the future, and it's like
I don't know.
Are there any booth babes?
Yes,
there are booth babes.
There are booth babes. Okay, booth babes are back.
Not too many, but there were a couple flagrant examples of the booth babe.
Yeah, the same ones that when I was in Boston, it was actually the same vendor. I won't name them, but
right.
Yeah,
okay. No, I'd name them. Come on.
I don't know who it was.
It was XJTAG. They were. They have girls in
like sashes and stuff like Miss America. It's a little bit degrading.
It's flagrant, like you said. It's
right.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not either. Dave is.
I think I've done some quick math here, guys.
Okay.
It might be. I could have got it completely wrong. I may be an order
My calculator
out,
borked.
but I think it's 115 days at 10 megahertz.
But that's if you're writing every cycle, right?
That's if you're writing every cycle,
But would you be writing every cycle?
This is ballpark stuff.
Yeah, so maybe 10% utilization in like a low power mode kind of. Because the MSP 430 has all these sleep modes and everything too.
You're not constantly updating the same.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the same? You'd be writing to the same registers once in a while.
I think I might do that. There's a great project. Buy an FRAM chip
and try to get a
build a circuit to flog it until it dies.
That is a pretty interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might do that.
I'll talk to TI. Maybe they'll send you some parts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Anyway, our amp hour's up, guys.
Uh-oh.
That was fast.
Sorry,
it did fly
3
by.
minutes over.
Yeah, well, we do have to get to this meetup too, so that works out well. All right, man. Awesome. Well, it's good talking to you. And Jeff, thank you again for the fifth time now.
This is number 5.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
Cinco.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on the show. It's always a lot of fun to be here, and
first time in person.
The first time in person, and before today, Chris and I had never met each other or spoken face to face. So,
and I actually didn't know what Jeff looked like.
Yep.
Neither of me and Chris.
And I have to say that in real life, Chris looks much older than his photo.
Which Dave posted.
Right.
Yeah. Chris looks like a normal adult human.
Sure, that's the illusion that he wants to. He's really 16.
Yeah. That's my secret. Taking that potion every night to keep young.
So yeah, thanks for having me on the show. It's a lot of fun.
All right, enjoy the rest of your show. Are you still there for the next couple of days, or?
Yep, here till Thursday.
I'm going home, but Chris is going to be here.
Yep, and I'll be posting updates to Twitter. So
have fun.
All right, thanks, Dave. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Make sure you do something during Jerry's thing.
Keynote, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe do a streak across the stage.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I'm not doing that.
You can come here and do that yourself.
Yeah, Dave.
Right. Okay.
Talk to you next week,
guys.
Dave.
See
All right. Bye.
Yes, I now have total and complete control of the amp hour, as it should be. Jeff and Chris have buggered off to the pub with Jerry, left me here alone in Australia to edit this thing. So, this is what you get. For the intro, you get Adam Hills singing Advance Australia Fair, the Australian national anthem, to the theme of Jimmy Barnes's classic Working Class Man. And just to annoy Chris even more, let's finish it off. Take it away.
Can't you just see it? The Athens Olympics. We've won gold in the swimming. Barnesy gets up to sing the anthem. Bottle of vodka trashed out of his head. Comes out with this. Australians all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. With golden soil and wealth with soil, our home is good by sea. Oh, our home is good by sea. And about nature's gifts, a beauty rich and rare, that history's page, that every stage, advance Australia fair. Come on, choir. Oh, advance Australia fair. And the second verse that no one ever knows. Within the radiant southern cross, swallowing hearts and hands, to make this commonwealth the house renowned of all the lands. For those who have come across the seas, with boundless place to cheer. Oh, advance Australia fair. Now you know the words. You know the words. We've got a choir. Let's sing it to the nation. The new Australian national anthem. Sing it with me, everyone. Australia.